Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is probably going to be pretty short, but I thought it was an important topic to make, which is talking about the ways that we hold ourselves back from trying things, from putting ourselves out there, from taking a risk or, applying to that job even though we don't have all the qualifications, that kind of thing. And some of the ways we hold ourselves back are pretty obvious, like with the job. They say that even if you don't meet all of the qualifications, that you should apply for it anyway. But there are unconscious ways that we're holding ourselves back as well. And one of them is the idea of having a limiting belief. So, a limiting belief is a thought or a state of mind that you think is the absolute truth and stops you from doing certain things. These are the stories that we tell ourselves, usually false accusations. So saying stuff like, I can never do X. I could never make a YouTube channel. I'm not good at X. I don't have enough X, or X always happens to me. It's these narratives that we repeat to ourselves that are unconsciously holding us back from trying anything new or from putting ourselves out there. Like, I will never be in a happy relationship. And you might not even realize that you're thinking that, but when you look at a situation or you look at an opportunity that maybe presents itself and you're like, no, I'm not even going to try because I know that I will never be in a happy relationship. But these beliefs can be so subconscious that we really don't even know they exist. And a lot of the time they stem from our childhood, from watching, our parents or watching the other people around us. Those are the people that we look up to when we're children to learn how to live and to do things later on in life. So if we don't see that success in these different areas from these people, or we don't see them maybe putting themselves out there, then we're going to internalize that, especially when their fears ultimately get pushed onto you, and where they aren't successful in things, they might put that onto the children around them. And when you're a child, you're just a sponge and you're soaking all of this up. You're soaking all of that energy and those belief systems up. And then when you're an adult, you just subconsciously believe that certain things are off limits to you. Certain things will never happen for you. And you shouldn't even try because it's safer to stay in your little bubble and to just live there. But it's just that saboteur, that little voice in your head that tells you that you aren't good enough or tells you that you can't have things that you want. But if you really think about it and you sit down with it, you can unlearn those beliefs. You can question them and eventually push through them so you can work through those limiting beliefs and get to a place where you do truly believe that you are worthy and that you do deserve the things that you want out of life. It just takes a lot of practice. So that's what I thought we would talk about today. So in situations where you might not even be aware that you might have a limiting belief in your life, for those, you want to just sit down and think through, like the examples that I provided earlier of, I'm not good at blank, and fill in that blank. And I'm no good at this because blank, and fill in that blank. Or I don't have enough blank, or blank always happens to me, or I'll never be able to blank. So just using those few little prompts, you might find that trend, you might find a pattern in what you're believing that you're capable of. And if you notice that pattern, from there you can start to maybe identify what that limiting belief is. Like, I will never be successful. I will never have my own business and be successful in it. Now, I'm no good at this because I don't know how to start a business. I don't know where to start. I don't know how to run anything. I've never done that before. I'm not capable. And that's what it kind of comes down to always, is I'm not capable. I'm not able to do it. And so practices like that, where you start to really acknowledge what that voice is telling you and in what areas that voice is talking to you, that's where you can start to identify your limiting belief. And that's the first step to understanding how you can transform it, is to first acknowledge it. Because if we don't know it's there, then we can't change it and we can't fix it and work towards a solution. So you first have to uncover what's really holding you back and what that limiting belief is. And if you would like to go even deeper into this exercise, once you figure out what your limiting belief is, you can maybe identify the root cause of it. Like again, if you wanted to start a business but believe that you can't, maybe you saw your parents or other adults in your life trying to work towards owning a business or having a little bit more independency in terms of their finances and their work, and you notice them struggling their whole lives to do that. So you believe that you're in that same pattern, that you cannot do it, that it's just not in the cards for you, and you completely write it off. And as I mentioned, a lot of these beliefs stem from our childhood, either from things people told us in our childhood, or as I just mentioned, just things that we witnessed in our childhood. So first step is identifying the belief. And if you do already know what your limiting belief is, or you just did that exercise and now you've got your limiting belief, you want to take a look at your life and ask yourself if this belief was ever validated. Like maybe you believe that you can't be successful, and there was a time in school where you submitted a project and it wasn't a hit, and your teacher didn't like it as much as you did, or whatever it is, where that belief was then validated that even when I try really, really hard and I put a lot of effort and passion into my work, it's still not good enough. So that would be a validation of this belief. And that's the second step, is to find areas in your life where you felt validated that only encouraged this limiting belief that's holding you back. And then once you've done that, you want to question where in your life this belief hasn't been validated, or where in your life that belief has been proven false. So different areas, just staying in that same realm of success or with a business. Maybe you submitted a project at work now in your adult life and it went really well, and your boss loved it and said you did a really good job, and you tried and you put yourself out there and it worked, and people were happy with your work. That is exactly in contrast with that limiting belief that's telling you that you're not good enough and it doesn't matter how hard you work, you're just not going to be successful. But I'm sure there are areas in your life where that limiting belief has been questioned and has been proven false. And we tend to not really focus on those. We tend to write them off as like, I just got lucky and it just really worked out, or, the other team members really helped me out. And we push against this idea that we did something right because we're so used to doing something wrong, and we're so used to believing our limiting belief and saying that doesn't matter how hard we try, we won't be successful. So you're looking for the areas in your life where that false belief has been put to question and has been proven false. And from there, you can see that this pattern that we've believed our whole lives, that we can't do something right, that we can't be successful, that we can't be in a relationship, whatever your limiting belief is, that's not always the case, and that's not always true. And that second step of identifying areas in your life where that is a false belief is what we want to cling to now. And it might take a little while to completely transform the limiting belief into a new belief, a new positive belief about yourself. But again, that comes with time and that comes with practice, where you're acknowledging over and over again where that limiting belief is questioned and where it is proven false, and focusing on those moments. Starting a journal is a good practice, where maybe you're starting a journal with, I don't know what my limiting belief is, but you start to just scribble down those first few questions that I had of, I'm not good at this, I can't do this, I'm never going to have this, I'm never going to be able to accomplish this. And just try to get to know yourself a little bit better. Write down whatever you believe about yourself and find that limiting belief. And then keep that journal and write down every time you feel like, actually, that went kind of well, and I did put myself out here at this point and it didn't completely backfire. And just moments where you feel successful and you feel accomplished and you feel really good about yourself. Anytime you feel really good about yourself, you can write that down and start to notice this pattern within yourself. And again, this might take some time, but after a few weeks or a few months, you'll notice a new pattern emerge where you can do this thing that you've believed your whole life that you can't. And you can accomplish great things when you put your mind to it and when you put your heart into it. And you'll notice then that your mindset starts to shift from I can't and I won't and I will never have to I think I could, and I believe that I could, and I know that I deserve it. And that's ultimately where we want to get to, is understanding that you do deserve the good things in life that you want. It's just a matter of mindset shift. And I know that that's a really hard thing to believe because I've been there. I've done the work myself in identifying my own limiting beliefs, and I've done the work to try to put myself out there. YouTube is a perfect example where I try to put myself out there anyway and just try. And I know now that my worth isn't tied to whether or not this YouTube channel is super successful. I know that I can do great things regardless of any little project I have, and I'm not going to let that hold me back anymore. Even if this all collapses and it goes nowhere, I'm just going to find a new project to tie myself to because I know that I can help, and I know that I can do great things when I put my mind to it, and I have that passion within me, and I'm not going to let my limiting beliefs hold me back anymore. And that's where you want to get to, where you're not knocked down by the little things, but you just keep persevering. And that same idea, when you are still kind of shackled with your limiting belief, that when you succeed, you're just lucky, shifts a lot to, when I fail, I'm just going to write that off. That's the exception. Me succeeding is what happens. And when I don't succeed, that's the exception. And you're just going to keep trying. You're going to keep putting yourself out there because you know that you deserve great things, and you know that you can contribute and that you have a lot of love and passion to give. So you're going to keep trying because you know that it'll land somewhere right, and you know that it'll work out at some point. But the first few things you try might not work out, and that's okay. It's not going to hold you back anymore. You're not going to let that completely defeat your hopes and your dreams because you know that you deserve great things. And that's the whole idea with transforming your limiting beliefs, is that you don't give up on yourself and that you believe in yourself because you can do it, and you do deserve love, and you do deserve success and whatever else you want to work towards. But we can't get there if we're still tied to our limiting beliefs, and if we're still telling ourselves, subconsciously or not, that we can't do it and that we don't deserve it and that we will never have it. So you have to stop telling yourself that story first, and then you can work towards a new belief, and belief in yourself, and belief that the universe is here to support you and that you are encouraged and loved. And if you don't feel that in the people around you, know that I believe in you. And you can drop anything you're working on or you want to work on in the comments below, and I will be here for you. I will be your cheerleader because I know that you can do it, and I know that you can work towards transforming your limiting belief, because if I can do it, anyone can. And I know that you will succeed in whatever path you want to take. So let me know below if you've ever heard of a limiting belief, if you know what yours is. You don't have to share it if you aren't comfortable with it, but let me know, and we'll work on transforming it together. Maybe I can turn this into a series where we just check in with each other over time, but hopefully this exercise helps you out, and like and subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you all next Friday.